What's up, everybody, and welcome to Flying with Doug. Interesting episode tonight. We had a really great first half of basketball and a really bad second half of basketball. The Dayton Flyers moved to 3-0 after a 77-69 win over Ball State. A lot to react to, a lot to talk about. First things first, guys. The inconsistency from one half to the other. We know Ball State ends the first half. They had the monster dunk that really got them going. That kid, Jamari Hill, had 25 points tonight. He was 11 of 13 from the three-point line, 7 rebounds to go with it. That kid is a very, very, very good individual basketball player. Like Brooks said on the call, a lot of his stuff was ISO, maybe a high pick, but a lot of it was just off the dribble and being able to beat your man. And that was impressive. But that second half of basketball, guys, 43-36, Ball State wins the second half. And it was close. It was close all second half. I don't know what to think on this, guys. I'm worried. I know we beat Northwestern. I know, 3-0. We've got the cupcake game against Capital this weekend. Then we've got New Mexico, and then it's Maui time. So there's 2 more warm-up games before Maui starts. And you guys can call me crazy. We're going to beat Capital. We're going to beat New Mexico State. But you have to play good basketball leading up to playing a good team like a North Carolina. And tonight just makes me worry that if Dayton is not able to put away teams like a Ball State, it's going to be very hard to beat and contend with some of these teams in Maui. And that's the ultimate goal there. I mean, that's the real goal, is to go to Maui and compete to win multiple games in Maui. Tonight, Dayton shot 21% from the three-point line, 49% from the field, only had 8 turnovers. That's a very solid. Out-rebounded Ball State 35-31. I would have liked to see there been a more of a difference there in terms of the rebounding, but it just, we're not a great rebounding team to go along with not being a great shooting team. So that's kind of a struggle. First things first, Enoch Cheeks. My. The night and day difference from who he was last year to who he is this year has been phenomenal. 23 points tonight, career high for his career at Dayton. 12 rebounds, another double-double tonight, 3 steals. Great stuff from him. Another block. He is putting together a A10 Player of the Year type season so far. I don't want to, speak too quickly from that, but Enoch Cheeks, star of the game, helps along with Malachi Smith, who also had a double-double, 17 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. Those 2 guys, the main catalysts of the night. Early, my keys were turnover, Ball State, pressure, with that, pressure their guards, make them make the mistakes. Zed Key, I thought, was going to need to have a double-double type game. He had 13 points. He only had 4 rebounds. He did have the 4 fouls where he had to sit out a extended period in the second half. So my Zed Key to the game didn't necessarily hit, but he did look good. He had 4 dunks, 5 free throws. We need a little bit more. I feel like we got to get him some more touches in the paint. There's just not a lot of flow to the offense. And, sometimes entering it into the paint doesn't really help with flow, but it also can reset your offense. Give Zed a touch. If he can make a move, great. If not, kick it out, swing it around, and move the ball. Get some more extra ball movement in there. In the second half, the offense felt pretty stagnant. I thought the unsung hero of the game is Isaac Jack. It's great to have Isaac Jack back on the floor. 11 points tonight. He was 5 of 5 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, had 1 rebound. His pick and roll game with Malachi Smith was on point tonight. I like the fact that Jack catches the ball, he keeps it around his chest or higher, and he finishes at the rim. I thought he did a fantastic job in that second half and gave Dayton a really big boost that they needed to have in the second half. It was not going well, and I feel like Isaac Jack, big boost. I believe he scored 9 of his 11 in the second half. Might have been 11 of 11 in the second half. So without his contributions, Dayton doesn't probably even win by this much. So great job by Isaac Jack coming off, playing his minutes when he can get his minutes. Because in the first half, Letang was the first center off the floor or off the bench, and then Jack came in about the 5:30 mark, and he was able to be a little bit more effective than Letang tonight. I thought Letang would be a key to the game. I wanted to see him get 10 points tonight. 104 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, 2 rebounds. It just, I don't know. I feel like I got really high on him really fast because of you can see the talent and the potential. Tonight it just did not produce on the floor. He had a rough night. The game, he had a blow by when he was helping off the guard. It just wasn't great tonight. It was a little choppy for me. So I can understand why he didn't get those minutes in the second half when Jack was rolling. My last thing, turn over the ball. The Flyers did a great job forcing turnovers in the first half. Ball State ended up with 15 turnovers. Dayton had 17 points off of turnovers, 19 fast break points. But that felt like it was all in the first half. We didn't get that same level of intensity on defense in that second half. And that caused a major issue. I mean, 10 steals for the Flyers, that was huge. That was exactly what they needed to do. But the offense was not clicking off of fast break points and points off turnovers. There was no flow. And, Ball State took advantage of that. Guys, Ball State didn't score their first field goal until there was 8 minutes left in the first half. And this was still an 8-point game, this was at one point was a 20-point game, and it gets all the way down to this. That's bad basketball. I know the Dayton won the game, and I know people are happy with Dayton just winning the game. I'm not. I think this could be a good basketball team, but the consistency has to meet the level of more than this. Playing down to your opponent in the second half or playing worse than your opponent in the second half, that's not acceptable. I mean, again, Dayton's going to beat Capital. They're going to beat New Mexico, but don't you guys want to be contending with, UNC, with Iowa State, with some of these teams they might play in Maui? Quick check-in from Rob Cleveland. Good long minutes for Santos to get his legs back. He needs to play the whole game on Saturday. I don't know about the whole game, but now that you brought it up, Nate Santos had a very, very weird game tonight. He played 35 minutes tonight. He had 4 points, 3 assists. He had a steal. He had 4 rebounds. He had 3 fouls in a row. Could have had a fourth. 0 for 5 from the field, 0 for 3 from the 3-point line, 4 of 8 from the free throw line. Nate Santos was kind of just out there today. I'm not really sure what happened with him. That drive baseline he had that should have been an easy one-handed dunk. He didn't get that elevation off the floor. I know he's recovering from, missing the offseason, but we just saw him last game against Northwestern play a really good game. A Nate Santos type game from last season. But so far against St. Francis, he had 4 points. He had 4 points tonight against Ball State. He shot 11% in that in that St. Francis game. There's got to be a middle ground for Nate Santos. It's bad. It's a bad game, great game against Northwestern, bad game against Ball State. We need a little bit more consistency out of Nate Santos this season, in my opinion. Also, I'm just gonna call it out what it is. Javon Bennett, so far this year, he's not hitting the 3 ball like we needed tonight. 1 of 7 from the field, 14%. He had 2 points. Luckily, he had that big game against St. Francis to kind of balance out the scoring. We need a little bit more consistency on the 3-point line from Javon Bennett, in my opinion. He is shooting 33% right now, but let's take a step higher. for him. One more extra, get that up to 35%. Get that up. We need more from him. Shout out to Tyler McGurk, Dougie Fresh. What's up? I would love to hear some people chime in. I appreciate everybody who's watching tonight. I appreciate everybody who listens to this on audio. We got 109 live viewers. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on the game tonight. You guys know how I feel. I'm very high and low with Dayton. I let the emotion part of it get going. What did you think? Because that second half was atrocious. The offense was really, really bad. I feel like we have a right to be worried when this team plays against bigger teams, bigger ball clubs who are going to be better than us. They're going to have more talent than us from position to position. Out rebounding Ball State by 4 rebounds. I don't think that's not great. So again, Malachi Smith, Enoch Cheeks, great basketball tonight. Needed everything those guys brought. Mally. I was one of his biggest doubters. 17 points tonight, 10 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 steals to go with it. Awesome game. Sometimes I feel like we need to make a little bit of a shift. The 3 guard sets, I just feel like we run them, and that somewhat bogs down the offense a little bit until the team's out actually pushing the ball. We've got to get to that point where the offense is a little bit more smooth. Other thoughts, Ball State probably not going to win the MAC, I wouldn't say, but solid team. I thought they were a solid team. That Britton Watts kid, 4 of 6 from 3. We talked about their star player, Hill, with his 25. Would have liked to see a little bit more dedicated minutes from Enoch Cheeks on him, to see if we could slow him down a little bit more. It feels like Dayton right now isn't necessarily saying, hey, we need to shut this guy down and shut him down now. We haven't really gotten to that point in the season. So I'm not going to go too far on that. Mickey Pearson had 11, and that was the bulk of their scoring. So far, 3-0. I'm happy to be 3-0, guys. I'm not going to overdo it. A win is a win. It just felt like this game should have never been close. It should have never been close. The amount of let up that Dayton had to have from that first half to that second half was monumental. You could see the gas pedal all the way up. There was just nothing that Dayton just came out of the half flat, completely flat. And Ball State took advantage of that. They started making some of their threes. Guys, 4 of 19 from the 3-point line for 21%. That is abysmal shooting. That doesn't just get fixed magically. I know they had a solid shooting night against Northwestern. They shot 38%, but you don't just magically fix bad shooting. It has to be attack. And that's going to get harder as the year goes along, as teams are watching Dayton and know they struggle from the 3-point line. Right now, our best 3-point shooter is Malachi Smith, I believe, shooting 50%. I'll take it. Enoch Cheeks is shooting 37%. I'll take that. Jacob Connor hasn't shot a lot of threes, but he's shooting 37%. But we've got a lot of guys that are struggling from the 3-point line outside of those guys. A lot of guys struggling. We shoot 30% as a team right now. So definitely some concerns. Some concerns coming out of this game. And it's more about playing to the level of your opponent. Ball State, we saw them struggle in the first half. We saw what pressure could do to them. We saw what Dayton's defense could be. And to see that drop off was alarming for me. I'm sure it was alarming for the people at UD Arena tonight. But I'm not going to keep dwelling on it. Dayton wins 77-69. 3-0. We've got Capital on Saturday. I'm probably not going to do a recap of the Capital game. I think that one's self-explanatory. We will be back Wednesday night, November 20th against New Mexico State. That'll be fun. And then we're off to Maui on November 25th. That is coming up sooner than later. So exciting time. Guys, if you listen to the audio version of this show on Apple or on Spotify, please leave a review. I really appreciate it. If you guys follow me on Flying with Doug, thank you for all the interactions. I appreciate them more than you will ever know. Thank you guys for tuning in. 141 live viewers tonight. Dayton wins, and they escape Ball State is what I'll call it. Thanks, guys, and we will see you next week.